I mean, comedy, I think you shared this, Ben, like comedy is about connection. It really can connect people together. Maybe you can share a bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, so in our database, we've got 300 different types of comedians. Not everyone's just a stand-up comic. There's improvisers and there's sketch writers as well. And what we've seen is that you need, like, each person comes with like a very different kind of skill set with a different experience and background. And really what humor is, it's relatable. It's you relating to another human in the way that they're viewing life and their lens. And so as a, like, businesses and like relating it back into marketing, that's what you're trying to do as like as a company, is you're trying to relate a story to resonate with the viewer, and that viewer, and like enticing them and pulling them into buying a product. Now, if you're a horrible company, you could use that same method to do things that are evil or just not in the best interest of that person. But if you're doing it for a positive spin and you want to influence that person and your product can actually help them in their life, like, that's an amazing way to build brand loyalty and create that humanistic connection. And so when you find improvisers, these guys are so amazing at getting creative. That's the muscle that they use. If you think of it like going to college and you're like getting a degree in something, you're exercising a certain muscle down a certain path. Improvisers and comedians have exercised a creative muscle to come up with ideas very quickly and rapidly. And in today's world, I mean, everything is quick and rapid, and you have to be on top of what's going on. So improvisers is a great way to get your ideas generated first. And then what we usually will have is a comedic team based off of a stand-up comedian and a sketch writer. So when you're creating an ad, you've got someone who's really good at these ideas, a stand-up comedian who's really good at like words of economy, things of like structuring the actual verbiage of it, and a sketch writer who's kind of taking it and putting it into a premise that can make sense. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things that when you're looking for creativity, go to the people who have elicited that same muscle just time and time again, coming up with 10,000 bad ideas to get to the one amazing idea. And these guys can do it quickly.
Yes, definitely. I've had a, tons of bad ideas. You need tons of bad ideas for every good one. And being able to generate those ideas quickly, right? It's like failing fast. It's like trying something really quickly, getting it out there. And combining that with like the marketing piece is really fascinating, right? Because you can test things so quickly now, different marketing campaigns, different copy. Is that something that you're noticing as well with bringing these creative ideas and being able to kind of sort through them really quickly to see which ones are actually going to work? Is that part of your process that you're taking on?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one thing that we've started picking up is that you can create a lot of good content just from your phone. So comedians don't need a big giant production. They can take out their phone, test out a bunch of ideas. We can send it to a client and see what's going to work a lot quicker than trying to go into a massive production. You spend $250,000 putting all the different pieces together, and then you finally get this ad out there. You're pushing it to your entire audience. You're spent another $250,000 on ads, only to then find out $500,000 later that that ad didn't connect.
Mhm.
Versus you think of like TikTok. TikTok's entire premise is like, don't add a lot of quality, just get this out there, see if it's going to work or not. And so that's our shift in keeping up with today's world and like how to be relevant. Things come quick, and people, they don't care as much about production anymore, right? If you think about things that have gone mega viral, I saw this guy on TikTok whose entire life changed. He was commenting on someone making a cake, and this video got 50 million views 2 months ago. Since then, he's amassed over 10 million followers by just simply putting out something that might have seemed stupid at first,
Mhm.
and then has later now turned into an entire shtick. He's got this channel that's grossed so many different followers, and now he doesn't have to stick in the same world because he didn't have some major production to, or like a team of people saying like, oh, you're funny or you're not funny. Like, he was able to put it out there and the audiences responded. So this
Mhm.
same premise that we give to clients, like, don't wait, just, we should be rapidly putting this out there, and the best people to come up with these ideas is comedians.
Mhm.
I think what's interesting about humor and comedy is that it's not the channel that's important. Today, it's TikTok, right? But if tomorrow there's a new platform, comedy or humor could work just as well. Like, what is more important is the messaging and the content. And
Yeah.
that's what, what's so great about comedy.
Yeah, I'd love to hear in like our final minute here, what like the impact can be for companies and brands that want to use comedy. Like why comedy and what's the impact it can make? And we've geeked out on this a lot, right? Of just comedy being like a vehicle, right, to help people reach their goals. And I'm curious of your perspective of that as comedy with a K.io, how you view comedy as a vehicle for impact.
Yeah, Steph actually, I mean, the origination of this whole company from Steph's perspective, and I love for her to take you down this route, comes from the Dollar Shave Club video and how that video went mega viral and then completely altered the way razors are sold and how that turned into $1 billion company.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take it from there, Steph?
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, I think Mary, you and I talked about how I think you started positioning away from. I think when people hear comedy or improv, they're thinking like, oh, is this some like feel good, like a hippy dippy sort of exercise, but it's much more than that. And that's what we tell clients that we speak with too, right? Like, even if your end goal isn't to make people laugh, there's a lot of value in working together with comedians because they think so creatively.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they were trained, with the yes and a great idea belongs to a whole team. And so that's what we've been trying to communicate to our to our clients is that there's a lot of creativity and a lot of like innovative thinking to be derived from engaging with professional comedians.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well said.